Oh, at some point, the most recent Mixed Mental Arts, right near the end, because he has that book out now,
Yeah.
Own the Day, Own Your Life.
Uh-huh.
So like at the end he goes like, okay, Brother Marcus, own the day, own your life. So you gotta like get that little clip out.
Yeah.
Like, Brother Marcus, own your day, own your life.
Russ just said, do you want to go hiking at Round Valley today?
Crazy. We can.
I guess.
Yeah, you drive. I go hiking with Russ. Sounds like the perfect idea. We can do this shit later. Dude, you bring the recorder. You can have like me, Russ. You can record me and Russ and you talking on a hike.
That's true.
You now have like the greatest podcast ever. Yeah, tell Russ. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're down for the hike if you're still. I mean, I would say like within the hour, really, right? It shouldn't take longer than that to get there. All right, cool. One love. Bye.
Crazy. It's gonna be awesome.
We must have a high tolerance for chaos. Learn to embrace the flow.
Forgive all that we can't forget. Regret nothing we can't let go. For despite what we have learned, infinitely more we do not know.
So let us tune our frequencies.
Until new vibrations grow. Let's pretend that it never ends.
And now, it's time to start the show.
Hey, welcome to the Opus Marcus podcast. I am your host, Marcus Aurelius. You are the audience experiencing the here and now, and this is episode 25, part 1 of a 2-part podcast. Here's the context. 1 year ago, Douglas Palermo came over and recorded the second ever episode of this podcast. Last Saturday, he came over to record his second episode on this podcast. Before we really got started, though, I got a message from our mutual friend and former college roommate, Russell Sprague, inviting me for a hike with his kids. So, seizing the synchronicity, Doug and I hopped in the car and headed to Round Valley, New Jersey. In this episode, part 1 has 3 sections. First, bits of conversation with Doug in my office. Next, our conversation during the car ride. And the sound quality there is a bit rough, but it is audible. Last, our arrival at Sprague Hollow, where Russ shows us his chickens before the hike. In the next episode, part 2 will cover our conversation during the hike and dinner afterward. For those of you who don't know, me, Doug, and Russ lived together our sophomore year of college in a cramped, quote-unquote, triple dorm room, which is now, 22 years later, a small lounge space. We always thought of ourselves as a spiritual trifecta. Doug, the mind, Russ, the body, and me, the heart. And so, heart, body, and mind reunite for a prodigious podcast that starts here and now. The Genesis cover band was on point, too.
Was it one you've seen before or just?
Yeah, it was the one we saw. Not you and me, but you, me, and Dave.
Oh, okay, yeah, the one from
violin band?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one I think I like better.
Oh, yeah. Like, by far, they were.
Yeah, I think they did better.
Because plus they play, like, things that are not gay.
Like the Montclair one were more like showmen. I think
Mhm.
the one in Newton were better just musicians.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 drummers and,
Yeah.
and the keyboard. I
Keyboard,
completely
right.
agree. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear a band that plays it note for note.
Yeah.
And his singing, even the singing was just so loose. The way Phil Collins, like, loose and relaxed.
I split up in like 4 categories, 4 themes.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers, heroes, friends, and then me's. And then from there, like each element for teachers, I've like start with like actual my Mount Rushmore of teachers, like people like Chomsky, Alan Watts, and so from there you go in like 15 billion directions, and like teachers I've actually had, and from there like how they each kind of boom, boom, boom. Same with like heroes, like starting with like heroes and like sports heroes, Malcolm X, Santana, Rogan, to like then that's transitions to like family, like grandparents, parents, step-parents, godparents, brothers. Then from there like friends, and from friends to like work to relationships, and then like title together with just like all the different me's, and from there just like the goal of just transcending, including the I, and leaving like kind of like transcending it and then including it, and then like what do I create from here, like where do I go from here type shit, like that's the overall goal. Yeah the analogy I'm going to open with, I'll share it now, is I'm learning it like as I'm doing a training, is holding the mitts. Like you're the guy holding the mitts, and holding the mitts is like 10 times harder and more of a workout than the guy actually punching.
Yeah.
Like the time, like we don't do it all the time there because it's only when there's smaller classes, and usually it's when the older brother does it. But it's tough because it's like you're punching, you're just punching. Like someone's just throwing shit at you. But like when you're holding it, you gotta like, you're not just holding it passively. You're like kind of like slightly hitting back to kind of like get it, and you're kind of guiding them because you got to be one step ahead almost. Like kind of if the hook if you know it's a hook, you got to do that. Kind of like
sure, yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, and you can't like kind of let the person punch you. You can't let them back you up. Like first time holding it, I'm like backing up at the punch. Like, oh, you got to like hold the ground.
Right. And you don't know exactly what force the punches are coming as well. Shit, so you have to be able to compensate.
Yeah. And it's to also push them like hard. Like when you see like those people, I never thought of it. Like you kind of see the people punching or holding the mitts, but now like when I watch those videos, I watch the guy holding the mitts, and it's a whole other like discipline.
Okay. And then what? Maybe the most recent one was Roseanne for like an episode.
Yeah, I was the type of thing I wanted to. I thought like, oh cool, Roseanne's coming back. But then as soon as it came back, I don't really care.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gained some steam, and if it was addressing,
or if I heard a lot of good things about it.
Right. Yeah.
I think if they weren't making it a political thing, if it was just Roseanne came back, but then it became like a topic. Once it became like
what you're saying,
a topic in the news cycle.
She's a Trump fan.
Like I wanted, like okay, I'm so just avoidant of anything in the news cycle.
Right.
Like once Roseanne became part of that, I'm like, I'll watch Here and Now that like no, I still haven't heard anybody. I haven't heard any reference about it in like any sort of media.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Like, the only people I know are like people I've told about. Like I don't. Have you seen like someone post about like
no, nobody said anything about
like an article about it, a YouTube video explaining it, like nothing. It's just a show that existed. That's how many shows there are at this point. You could have like a complete just show that exists, very profound, had like created by like one of the major like showrunners who did 6 Feet Under, American Beauty. Got like serious talent like Tim Robbins, Holly Hunter, relevant to today's themes, like a lot to discuss about it in terms of like the politics in it, very controversial, the content. Zero.
Nothing.
Just like
because there's just oversaturation, you know? There's just too much, it's too small in the pantheon of shows.
Oh, at some point the most recent Mixed Mental Arts, it has Aubrey Marcus. And right near the end, as Brian Callen is saying goodbye to him, he says like, because you know he has that book out now, Own Your Life. Yeah, I've been listening to Own Your Life. Own the Day, Own Your Life. So like at the end he goes like, okay, brother Marcus, own the day, own your life. So you gotta like get that little clip out.
Yeah.
Like, brother Marcus, own your day, own your life.
Russ just said, do you want to go hiking at Round Valley today?
Crazy.
Oh, it's a shame.
Why?
Well, I mean,
we can.
I guess.
Yeah, if you drive around the valley, yeah, that'd be awesome. I go hiking with Russ. That'd be like, sounds like the perfect idea. We could do this shit later. Like, we'll be back by 8, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Dude, you bring the recorder. You can have like Russ. You can record me and Russ and you talking on a hike.
That's true.
You now have like the greatest podcast ever. Yeah, tell Russ. Yeah, awesome.
Yo, we're down for the hike. If you're still. All right. I mean, I would say like within the hour, really, right? It shouldn't take longer than that to get there. All right, cool. One love. Bye.
Crazy. It's gonna be awesome.
Stanley Krickner and Chris Ryan do the driving podcast.
That was a cool one.
The one where like Joe Rogan was on the plane. I think you're trying to think.
Honey, you did one hiking with Ari, right?
Oh yeah, that's right, the hiking one. We went in a hotel room. I wouldn't have came over if it wasn't for like to do the podcast.
Right.
And now all of a sudden like I'm gonna be like outside hiking. Like now I'm in a car.
Yeah.
That sort of shit. Like, it's like
That's one of the things I love. It's not that every day can't be like that, but it becomes every moment is unexpected. Like you really do go on a trip.
no matter how much you plan, it's like we're gonna do this and we're gonna watch this,
Right.
we're gonna listen to this,
Nope.
and we're gonna. It's like
You never know.
as soon as it starts. But I'm sure there are still people who like. I guess it's also we're experienced doing it, so we know to allow that to happen.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like we could like we know like okay, nope, this direction we're going in now, so we're gonna follow that direction.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are like other people who'd be like, no, we said we were gonna do this. And then again, those type of people probably wouldn't be tripping in the first place.
Right. I learned a long time ago to go with that flow.
Yeah, I do as much as I can in my waking life. I guess waking life or non-tripping life or
Yeah.
normal life.
Normal life, whatever you call
cis
it.
life. Make a term for
The baseline. Baseline consciousness.
Baseline life. Baseline life.
There you go.
Baseline.
So, okay, if we're going to see Russ, what was your first encounter with Russ?
I remember it ties in with Theft World
Interesting.
because it's very like it was in this because I had Theft World and we had the weekly whack. I remember one of the things now like okay now that at Drew, how am I going to keep sending whacks to Joe like using over the email because I was used to the other system. And what I guess I didn't know how to do was how to copy and paste something. Like copy and paste like a Word thing into an email or something like that. Like all this stuff was still new. It was still kind of like these complex things.
Right.
Like, you forget how easy like stuff is now, like basic things. But literally, copying text was something that you really had to know your way around computers. Kind of know like Control C, Control V. Like,
Sure, absolutely.
And so, since I knew Russ was like good with computers, I seem to remember like I guess asking him whether it could help. And I remember going to a dorm and he was like looking over, and he just gave me just like really complicated solution that like I didn't even know. Like he just made it seem like more like the stereotypical tech support guy. Like give him the problem, he's like, it could be this, it could be that. I don't know what I do, blah, blah, blah. But like, as he's like kind of explaining and talking about how complicated the problem is, he was also like reading the whack itself. And kind of like, that's funny, it's pretty funny. And I kind of like was there. Yeah, because I remember Joe like eventually emailed me. He was like, oh no, it's just like Control C, Control V or something like. No, Control V, Shift, Insert.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I just right-clicked, but now I use the keyboard.
I'm trying to think how he did it previously.
So you went over and asked him for
I
help?
think so. Yeah, I don't like. Cause I remember my first like passive aggressive. Like I always kept, besides keeping the door open, is is that when I first got there on the marker board, I wrote fefroll.com, like, or not, whatever the address was, because it wasn't Fefroll. It was like www.gti.net / like all web addresses. Because again, 1996, having a website is like that was one of my big calling cards. Like kind of when applying to colleges, like I have a website. I'm like, you have a website?
What? Yeah, it was one of the first. How many? Like 100,000 or less?
20,000.
20,000.
Like in '94 when it started, if you look at the statistics of how many websites there were in July of '94, it's like 20,000.
That's crazy.
By the time we're in college, it's probably closer like to 100,000. Like '96, probably 100,000.
Right.
I'm curious. I gotta look to see what it was by the time we left college, like 2000.
I mean, remember getting a laptop in Drew was a huge deal. The fact that all incoming freshmen received a laptop. Huh.
I'm curious. I need to know that, like, kind of how big the internet got between when we started college. Like, I know '96 was definitely 100,000 websites. So I want to know how many websites there were in 2000.
Yeah, because was there even YouTube by the time we graduated?
Yeah, YouTube is like...
That was 2002 or something?
No, YouTube's 2006.
6?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We were like well into like adulthood.
Oh my god.
We made it a long time without YouTube.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. So, what's this? Websites. Wow, yeah, so 94, there was 2,738.
Jeez.
95, 23,500. 96, when we started college, there was 257,000 websites.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say 300,000 websites when we started college.
Still not a lot. That is not a lot.
Guess how many there was by the time we graduated college in 2000?
Which is like, I don't know, 500 million or something?
Nah, 17 million.
17 million.
17
okay.
million. So we went from 300,000 to 17 million in our college.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now there's 1,700,000,000. Like it's a number it's hard for me to like have to think about. 1,766,926,408. Let's just say 1.8 billion websites.
God damn.
So literally, I got in at like like that's one area. It's like I was there at the beginning. There's only 2,000 other people like, I was there before that guy though. And like, and those people are like, some of them we know their names. Like they're like Bill Gates. Like they're like the people like made it. When was your first introduction to the internet?
Prodigy, I believe. So my dad was far thinking. So one of the reasons why I can't play video games today is because I never had an actual Nintendo system growing up. So we had an Atari from my babysitter Chris, his old Atari. So there were games on that. My dad's philosophy was, no, you're going to learn the computer. So when you say things like cutting and pasting, I understood that because the computer had a word processing program. I would write poetry on it. So at some point, we go from the Atari to, I think it was Windows 3.1, like one of the first Windows computers. It was from Gateway, and that had internet access. So the first dial-up was Prodigy. That came before AOL, and I guess it was all, I don't remember exactly, but I guess it was all text-based. But it had those bulletin boards for interests, you know? I think I found Quantum Leap fan page, and had that girl in Iowa that I ended up going out to see just from meeting her through Prodigy, the Quantum Leap board. And then, Genesis had a Paperlate forum, and then came AOL, which I think AOL was like the first graphical across the country, like everybody's using it now. So I was there.
You came through the commercial route.
The commercial route, yeah.
Prodigy,
Even though, like, there were inklings of it before with my babysitter Chris, because he was this guy, when he was in high school watching us, he was that computer nerd, where he was he knew basic programming language, and he had all these little programs that he made himself.
Right.
He had made a program that it made it look like you were hacking into a government computer. So I had a birthday party with all my friends over, and I got my mom to go along with us. And we ran the basic program, and you like put in a password, and then it says, you have illegally entered so-and-so's computer, the authorities have been contacted, and we just tricked all of my friends. My mom made us run into the basement. She said, quick, get into the basement and hide, and everybody was freaking out. But yeah, so he was up on all that shit way ahead of time. You know, I should give him more credit for the shit he showed me back in the day.
Right.
And then the next person that would get a lot of credit is Noli, because Noli really...
Really?
Like, he showed me how to do a lot of word processing things I didn't know. He taught me photo editing. He showed me shit on the web, you know.
Now we're talking more computers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot of it. I'm proud to say I learned myself.
I came through it like it was my friend James. I've told you about him. My friend James is the one who had born without hands.
Oh, right.
He had hooks, but he didn't. He wore the hooks in school, but he didn't like wearing. Usually when he was home,
Did he live on your street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would play the trumpet, and so when it wasn't, it's usually like when it was nice out, we'd play football, basketball, football, whatever we do. When it was raining out, I'd go hang out with James. Because it's not like there would be days that he didn't come out and like play with us, like play football with us, and he was good.
Mm-hmm.
He was athletic, but like understandably, like he's got no hands. He was gonna be sitting at his computer.
Right.
But when it rained, I would go over there and it's kind of you just show me shit. Like that's how I just kind of the whole. Like, I love just watching people play video games.
Oh man, that was my favorite. Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't play them, but I loved watching or like holding the manual for them and giving them strategies.
Right. That was with James. Like James would just be there, just like playing whatever. And I would just kind of like sit and just watch. The trade-off was he had like all these like kind of like old like Commodore 64 games and stuff like that, so I would just be able to like borrow whatever and just like, yeah, I'm gonna borrow these games and like take them home and
Nice.
these games. He just had like every game.
Did you have a favorite game?
I'll get into games later. Let me finish.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, go for it.
The internet thread. And I think that was his name, Thread. Yeah, his SciSop name, I'm pretty sure it was Thread.
Oh my god.
He had a Commodore Amiga, and he had his own bulletin board.
Wow.
Well, first, before he set up his own bulletin board, he like kind of was on the other bulletin boards, and he would show me them, kind of like people talking about like aliens, because we were both into aliens.
So, parallel to that time, is that also what Russ was doing?
Yes.
He was doing the same stuff.
Russ was doing the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Like yeah. Like I don't think they. It's possible they may have crossed paths.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, maybe.
But like, for what I gather, like they're in probably different communities.
Right.
Well, like yeah, the same time period.
But that was the proto-internet then.
Yeah. So like James, I remember specifically the first time he like was the first one to show me like a porn picture from the internet. And I was like, okay, we get this now.
Yeah.
Like I remember the big setup there is since they could only allow so many people on the servers at a certain time at these bulletin boards, you pretty much had like hours and then they would just kick you off.
Right.
But you could kind of play games with the other people to gain more hours.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's kind of like that kind of like the hours thing was kind of like the currency of the thing. There's everything to do. The show that again, there's a show for everything, but that does it perfectly. That shows the history of like the early internet well is Halt and Catch Fire.
What is it?
Halt and Catch Fire.
All right.
Really good show. Maybe it had like 4 seasons. local. It's based on Morristown, a local thing. So, TTI.net.
Okay.
And so the main place is called the Moos, the River Moo. Like Russ knew River Moo, but he was on he was on Lambda Moo. I was on River Moo.
Okay.
And Moo stands for there's muds and moos. A mud is a multi-user domain or dungeon or whatever it was. Like it was like a place where multiple users come. A moo is a mud that's object oriented. Where you can kind of create like your own room. You can create like objects. So it's not just like muds are usually more just text, just kind of text back and forth, just conversation. Moos are actually doing things too. Like you kind of create rooms for yourself with description. It's more like kind of like those text-based adventure things.
Okay.
That like people are collecting. It is like a lot of just like that's where people talk, but there's other things like people could do more with it than just talk.
Right.
I mainly use just talk. Like the core group was me, Al, this girl Kelly Lupdell, Joe, Hewitt, James, and this kid Jimmy Villanova. Like, because we were I think Sean Grant, this guy kid Sean too. We were the only ones in town that had a computer, had access to the internet.
Okay.
More or less, for the most part. So we all met up at River Moo.
All right.
So like we just kind of like pretty much every night we just met at River Moo and just kind of like all chatted with each other. So you have just kind of like a group chat. So like that was like kind of like the birth of the whole social media.
Now, but you already knew Joe at this point too.
Yeah, everybody I was talking with online, I all knew in person. Like that's the thing. Yeah, I knew everybody I was talking to online. I had personal friendships with, and relationships with.
Okay.
Almost that mirrored, like kind of like the people I was only acquainted with. I was only acquainted with online. People that I was good friends with in real life, I was good friends with online. Like there was no gap between that.
Okay.
Like, it was not like.
So, do you remember when you met like the first person from online that you didn't know in person?
Well, yeah. You were there.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Did you not know you leaded me to that? Oh, Jen Goodland?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know if there was something in between, but...
No, definitely.
Yeah, Jen Goodland.
Yeah, Jen Goodland.
Now, how did she find you?
Fefrel.
She found Fefrel, right.
She's just a legit... Since that's it, since Fefrel was the first one, like, couple thousand websites on there, even by the time, like, say, like, by, like, a year in, we were among the first, like, 20,000.
Yeah.
So, as people start connecting to the web and they need, well, what am I going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
It's a destination.
Right.
So, like,
and there were so many different things to do on Fefrel.
Right. So, so we were reviewed in magazines. Like, we were in the first things that got linked on Yahoo. We won awards, like, top 5% of the web.
That's
like,
right.
Because, like, it was, like, it was unique. Like, it was like, because usually the web was just tech people talking to tech people. I was literally one of the first non-computer guys to be on the web. Because, like, as the argument goes, I was among the first bloggers.
And so, and how did that exactly happen? So Joe just said, yo, come up with an idea for a page and I'll do it?
Yeah, because he knew the web was coming.
Yeah.
Like, I was still, like, I was still happy with River Moo and Usenets, which was a whole, like, that was, like, the dark web at my time.
Okay.
Because, like, before you had the graphical browsers, to get that porn aspect of the web, because you're still, like, 16, 17-year-old male, like, on the internet. It wasn't through Usenet.
Right.
And it was through, like, erotic stories. Because, like, it wasn't, like...
Sure.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
And since it's story form, like, they could go, like, dark.
Dark.
But the genre I tended to... Like, I definitely explored, like, I was exposed and explored all the dark corners of that, so I'm well aware of what was on the internet at that time. But like where I kind of zoned in on would be the like the fanfic ones, kind of like the Saved by the Bell, and they're like having sex with each other.
Of course.
Kind of like TV show characters having sex with each other.
Alright. Man, see, I didn't know about any of that.
Yeah, I can still remember one of the first television characters I remember like masturbating to. Do you know yours?
Did I?
First television character that you masturbated to.
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think I know the answer to that.
And I'm
Was yours
happy
Alyssa
that-
Milano?
No, Alyssa Milano's probably the first like that you feel attracted to, but it was still probably like too young to like.
Okay. I mean, I didn't start masturbating till late, so that's a whole other story.
Remember, like Liz Mom, that was the 80s. We were like kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
We
totally.
were like masturbating.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. When did you start thinking about sex and all that? Because, I mean, I started young, reading and learning.
Oh yeah, I always
obsessing.
kind of knew it. It was always kind of like in the background. I don't know. Like
I think it was more of an obsession.
I first noticed girls as being the other in like 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
5th grade.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I remember the exact moment where like we were on a field trip. We were like kind of like outside, and I think we went to like some farm or something, and we were like going to the people were going to gift shopping and that. And so like some people were in the gift shop, some people were outside. Or those unstructured times of field trips.
Sure.
Usually more what field trips are about than the actual structured times.
Yeah.
That's when like the alliances are formed and the friendships solidified, and like which I see when like we were on a field trip yesterday, Friday, went to West Point. Like I saw that and kind of allowed it and kind of like liberated it, But I remember just seeing like a girl and just like, oh wow, like that's like that's something different.
The lightning bolt.
Yeah, no, I don't even know if it was for that particular girl. It was just seeing like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm attracted to that.
All right.
Like that is attractive.
Nice.
Like I didn't. From I remember, it was not somebody I really knew. Like sorry, it was pure just physical. Like kind of like,
Right,
oh wow,
right.
that's different. But yeah, in terms of TV actress, although prior to TV actress, like if you, because the real star would be music video. Like that's the beginning. Like, were you well versed in your like kind of masturbatory music videos of MTV?
No, like I said, I mean, I didn't start masturbating until I was maybe 16.
Ooh, wow.
I know, and
oh my God,
and
that is
you know
very
what's
late.
funny is there was a podcast recently, maybe it was even Rogan himself or somebody that was on that said they also started very late for some reason. They couldn't understand it either. I don't know why I didn't realize what I could do. I think I had even already had a girlfriend at that point.
Wow.
I know, and I don't understand why I didn't realize that I could do that. There's some sort of weird disconnect where it seems so obvious because I knew everything else and I was thinking about sex constantly. So why didn't I just masturbate? Did I not know that I could? The idea of masturbating to a magazine or a picture, anything like that, was just I remember looking at Playboys and Hustlers and shit.
No, but did you at least watch MTV or at least familiar with the videos?
Absolutely.
Like if I make references to like,
I mean,
do you remember like the Rick Astley video where it's just him and a naked model, just like just topless and the whole like suspicious skin.
I can tell you. Do you remember Madonna in the movie Who's That Girl?
Yeah.
With the short blonde hair period.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was one of my earliest wet dreams. Like, she was in my living room, my computer room, and I guess she had jerked me off or done something. I woke up, it was a wet dream. So that's the first time I could think of like somebody that's a star or music video star.
Nice. Yeah.
But not masturbating to her. So like connected to the internet though with girls. AOL Messenger I was using and met some girl who went to Violent High School. This was the summer before I was going to be a freshman. And she was going to be a junior. She just happened to have AOL. So we're chatting, blah, blah, blah. She lives across town. And she like convinces me to come over. My parents are away that weekend, so I have to sort of sneak out. The neighbors are not going to know. But I have to ride my bike. So I ride my bike all the way across Violent, get there at sunset, and she won't let me in, I guess, because her parents are there. But we're hanging out on her stoop. She just totally knows what she's doing. Like she knows that I think we had chatted about like I haven't kissed a girl before.
She knows what she wants.
Yeah. She knows what she wants, right? And she was drinking mocha cappuccino, the cold, when it had just come out. Like it was a brand new thing. I hadn't even heard of it. She's like, yeah, it's a new thing. So when we actually started making out, which we did, that's what her mouth, I'll never forget, that's what her mouth tasted like. And she let me go to second base. And I remember shivering and being real nervous, and then when she moved her hand down and started rubbing my crotch, she was laughing. She's like, you just totally calmed down as soon as I started touching your crotch. I'm like, yeah, of course. But then there was the terrifying bike ride back at 2 o'clock in the morning through ghetto Violent.
God damn.
Just like, please let nothing happen to me. Like, this is so fucked up.
This is summer before freshman year?
Yeah.
So you're like 14?
Yeah, I guess. Ages and years are all a blur at this point, but...
Well, yeah.
But it was just like one of those heroic moments of, oh, I did this. And it was thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
A lot of good experiences on the internet. That's how I ended up with Olivia, who took my virginity. So, her roommate, I don't know if you remember that girl.
Yeah.
I met her. She had IM'd me saying, "Oh, I'm a new student going to Drew," and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, possible like." But then she introduced me to her roommate, Olivia, and so that's how all that. And then like speed date with Stephanie, the deaf girl who I'm still in touch with. So the internet's done a lot of good. Yeah, there were a whole bunch of characters on the Fast Forward guest book that were not from our circle. Like there was that guy Wick.
Yeah.
That kid. I think we actually called this house once.
Yep. But Jen Goodland was the only one we actually met.
Jen Goodland we met, yeah. That was the day we did all of that writing for Joan Weimer. Because we had to hand all that shit in.
Oh, that's right.
It was in December near the end. We did so much writing in the morning, and then we left and we went into the city. That picture of us standing under the no stopping or standing sign taken on that day is in my classroom right now.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I never told you who my actress was. It was.
Oh yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart from Cliffs or Experience It All.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that. She is. You know what? I agree with you on that one because I had a crush on her too.
I think the wholesome but hot, the wholesome and hot. Like I think wholesome and hot.
When my family went to Disney World, we were going through one of the parts, I don't remember, but we ended up behind the scenes of the filming of the show. There were these windows where we could see the studio. There she is. She's a real person. Oh wow, look at this.
Right.
Got real chickens.
Alright, watch out for
Or
those like muddy pits or...
So they're hens or chickens?
Well,
Chickens are hens?
yeah, hens are chickens and roosters are chickens, you want roosters. Then your eggs will be fertilized and not just like the three. So we currently have 8. None have died yet. Knock on wood. The yellow ones are buff Orpingtons. They're kind of like the golden retriever of the chicken world. They're just like friendly, curious idiots. The ones with the more interesting patterns are the Easter eggers. They lay like bluish or greenish eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the black ones are Asian blues. I don't remember. So this right here is the omelette cube, or eggloo cube, which is like.
Oh yeah, it's omelet.
Like I wish we'd started with this. This is like a far more like fantastic construction. This is like a far easier to maintain and take care of process than the original like wooden one we had.
Now is Pun's big into? Is that a chicken raising thing?
Oh yeah,
Kind of
it's
like
definitely
people who
cutesy.
have boats have like the fancy boat names for chicken raisins.
Oh yeah,
like
no,
chicken Puns.
And this is all like the rage and like the nonsense hipster thing in like Queens or Brooklyn now is having backyard chickens.
Okay.
So you see those wheels there. So the old one, what we had to do is like prop it from the ground. I had to like get under it and like carry it, like this like Sicilian task, plop it back down, restake it. This one, there's just these little things back here. You kick it down, that engages the wheel, roll it, put it back down. So that way you can just keep on destroying different patches of your lawn instead of just having one giant cesspool of mud and chicken shit.
Right, okay.
What other cool features I can sell you on the omelet? You've got this hatch right here, where I just pulled 6 eggs out of. Literally like...
Oh nice. So you are getting like 8.
Oh yeah, tons of them.
Nice.
I just pulled 6 eggs out of there like half hour ago.
Wow.
And it's crazy, like you don't tell them, you don't teach them, they just like know like, oh, this little side thing must be where I go lay eggs.
You have eggs?
Oh yeah, I'll show you
I'd
eggs.
be honored to make a pecan pie with your. What's the poop back? We gotta make that happen for Kingman stock.
You
I'll
guys
make-
see the inside.
I'll make pecan pies with your actual with
Nice.
eggs from your chickens.
So that you can see how easy this is to like clean.
Sleeping.
It's not. It's obviously not clean right now.
Right.
But basically, they just continue to crap through the night. Goes down there. You pull that tray out, hose it
Hose
off
it down,
into the
yeah.
woods or whatever. Or Joe Hewitt's like, man, I really wish I had your chicken. Like, I wish you were closer so I could take your fertilizer. I was like, sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
And then you could just hose this thing off every couple days, and then
like Joe
whole thing.
Like Joe's helicopter will kind of like fly out there. I'm here for your fertilizer. How you been, Russ? Fly it back off.
Because he doesn't want to do a chicken.
Oh
yeah, and at night,
top.
At night it's like a Jodie Foster panic room. You gotta see this. Like, and you can. There's automated ones and sensing ones. You just lock that in. They're there for the night.
Wow.
And which is fantastic because, as you might, hilariously, we live in a neighborhood with tons of foxes. Like, we
Right,
have, like,
sure.
Like a fox, like little den back there. There's always like giant foxes just like walking through the lawn. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like a year or so ago, before we had Porter, we like sent Smithy out after one of them. Fox was just like sitting there on one of the stumps, just like watching Smithy go the wrong way. Just like, you idiot. Just like, doesn't give a shit. So we've got these like giant ballsy foxes.
Right. Now, if it's a nighttime and a fox comes near, will they sense it and get loud?
Oh yeah, they'll get upset. Yeah. But we're always hearing foxes. You know the fox cry?
Oh yeah. Yes.
So we're
Because
always
we have them in
hearing
our
those.
neighborhood. I
Yeah,
hear
we're
them.
constantly
Remember when I called you? I was talking to you
Yeah,
that
we're
one
talking,
night.
and you
I'm like,
hear
what
them.
is that sound?
You're like, oh, it's a fox.
Yeah.
It sounds like a baby being skinned
Yes,
alive.
it sounds horrible.
Horrible.
That by a fox.
Right. The
Oh,
only
I've
thing
heard
worse
by
is
other
two
fox.
cats having sex.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. We can hear that in Hoboken all the time.
Ugh.
We're basically like drunks
No.
and copulating cats.
I've heard of it being like
It's
pretty
just
calm,
like-
but
I was woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning once.
never in
That sound.
Boy, you're doing all right without being on a leash.
kind of like first time hearing like a coyote. Or they're like one of those like
Like a coy dog,
when
yeah.
you go out west and you camp and you hear like there's that. Oh shit.
Yeah. How far away is this thing?
Yeah, that's out of the
Language.
I try as well. I understand. Anyway, so this is our life now. They make the funniest sounds. Like if they're pissed, if it's like raining and it's like they're just in mud, whatever. They don't have food or water. That's means like nah, 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 nah.
Wow.
Like you're in the wrong neighborhood, boy. Type
Yeah,
sounds. It's
yeah.
crazy. But like if they're happy and you give them like yogurt, for example, it's always like burp, 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 like happy little sounds. It's so funny.
They can eat yogurt? I didn't know that.
Oh, they love yogurt. They go crazy for yogurt.
Huh.
The only thing in this house that loves yogurt more than the dogs, the chickens.
Have you fed anything living yet, like a mouse?
We've fed worms to them. They go crazy. They like carry it around all excitedly.
And if one drops it, everyone gets it, they run around, then everyone chases that one which has the worm.
Yeah, if we had some worms right now, I'd show you. It's an entertaining show. They like
Love
they go berserk over it.
I also do
They also cantaloupe. They also love cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe. Nice.
Hello, Kitty, wanna leave?
They'll just kind of circle it and peck at it.
Yeah, but they're inside the cage, so they cantaloupe.
Hey,
Must be.
your pun is...
That was good. That's
You're
good.
getting into the chicken raising community.
You're ready to.
Yeah, you're one
They're
of
going to
them.
be doing backyard chickens next.
Right.
You'll fit in.
Oh, I would love to.
You'll fit in.
Like,
I would love a garden and some
Yeah,
chickens.
let me show you the eggs. Incorporated into the dessert course.
Yeah, like we're gonna put it out at the end. Like I know you weren't prepared for this. Like you
We have
have
a
like
change of plan, guys. I'm sorry this wasn't in your rider, but
you have like a crew of like 24. You've been like outlining this for weeks, and this guy shows up with a pecan pie.
this throws everything in chaos. All right, guys, we're gonna go to Round Valley. You love Round Valley.
I know, but I wanted to play in my princess castle.
Well, let me tell you something. What did we figure out that it does today? That it lights up. So how about we have it lit up in your bedroom at night? Would that be cool? Oh, you're expecting that to happen anyway. Okay. All right, well, let's pack up Princess Castle. Let's pack a bomber.
Okay, I'll
Kirk, you'll come back and play with it tonight.
No, I need to.
Oh, you want to put your pharaoh in there? Okay.
Yeah.
Kirk is absolutely obsessed with ancient Egypt right now.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Kirk, can you speak ancient Egypt?
Blue, 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 blah, blah.
That's their impression of
It's all Greek to me.
How long did you live in Hoboken compared to how long you've lived here now?
Well, lived in Hoboken for 9 years.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much how old Libby is plus a little bit. So like 5-6 years. So yeah, from Hudson to Hunterdon. Opposite ends of 78 in Jersey. And you know there actually was a town there. They destroyed it, demolished it, dammed up, flooded this. Throw rocks in the water if you want.
Have you ever heard of the show Here and Now?
I don't think so.
I think I'm the only one who's ever seen it.
What's it on?
It just finished. It was on HBO.
Okay.
It just wrapped up. It had like a 10-episode, 1 hour. It was created by Alan Ball,
Oh, love Alba.
who did like 6 Feet Under and like the Vampire one, and
Yeah.
We need this walk.
it had Tim Robbins,
Okay.
Holly Hunter.
Oh, it's got like great cast. Yeah.
Yeah, it like dealt with
Do you
like
want this one or this one?
very like kind of like modern issues because it was like literally like about the here and
Just
now. Very diverse cast, controversial like they talk about like Muslims and like everything. There's like, but like nobody knows about it.
Yeah, no.
There's been zero press
Like
about
I
it
will
at
go
all.
on HBO now.
Yeah, it's very powerful having a positive family, the power of the prayer, and God, plus a positive attitude. All those things mean so much to get you through life.
We covered all the important stuff.
That's right. So now let's cover the unimportant stuff.
It's a microcosm of all of the pain of the United States.
Ooh.
Yeah, getting these moves.
We left out a specific thought thread. You don't remember where we ended it.
I'm not sure I remember what I did yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. When you're in the moment, there's only this moment.
I guess tune in next time when I have some interesting shit to talk about. Other than that, I love you. I love the world. Peace out.
I say I avoid responsibility. That way nobody feels compelled to put me in a position of power.
Be excited, because now it's here. Shiny gift of a lesson that you have in front of you. And now you have to work through it. You really have to, if you want to and you're tired of it, you have to work through it.
Why not? And give yourself, I would call it a dose of real reality. I mean, where nothing makes sense but everything works.
Let's be real. None of this is real.
I feel like I'm telling a story.
What's your advice for people in life?
My advice is to stay strong, be helpful, be smart, be brave, be powerful, be kind, and be loving to everyone, even your pets.
People are like, oh, wouldn't you get lonely when all your loved one dies? Like, no, you get new loved ones.
We really don't know what's in store for us. We really don't know.
Well, would you want to know?
Well, no.
No.
Let's say something bad happened to you. Move on. It already happened. Just move on to the better things in life.
I hope it's really not just us. Right? Everyone else is like, self-create eternal hell. No. Every waking moment is a joyous experience of growth and opportunity. I find myself totally spiritual centered and at peace with the balance between me and the rest of the universe.
What a heck of time!
After all that, they won the game.
Still here? Cool. This is a bonus track in honor of my grandmother, Petrina Michelina Rosa-Toritto, who 4 days after this podcast is released, which would be May 8th, 2018, my grandmother will have turned 100 years old. And she died right before turning 96, but I happened to get a couple recordings of her telling stories about the family before she passed away, and this is one of them. And it has been put on a podcast episode before, but you probably haven't heard it. So here it is in all of its glory. My dear Nana.
Do you feel that?
So I feel what? When I drink vodka?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You feel chill, right? You feel like just relaxing.
Right.
And mellow.
The thing is, you can't do that when you're driving.
No, absolutely not.
You have to be on those.
Well, to be honest, man, I don't really like vodka all that much.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the difference.
I'll do whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
But I can't see the difference.
No.
No, it just relaxes me, and I feel better.
Well, that's good.
And then my pains go away, and I feel better for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't last.
No.
No.
Does it last you through the night?
Yeah. I can go to bed with it.
Mm-hmm.
I go with to bed, and I get that. I have that feeling of, being relaxed, and that helps me.
So, tell me the story of how you met Papa.
Oh my God!
Tell me about meeting Papa. How old were you when you met him?
Oh, honey, why are you going so Oh, you're going so far
So
back.
far back? Well, tell me, because, how old were you?
I was 19.
19.
Yeah, Papa was 19. And my friend and I came to Philadelphia to visit her because I had just broken off with my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone with him for a couple of years. And we got into an argument. Grandmom took over. She took the gifts that he gave me, and she went over there and she broke the whole thing up.
She broke it up?
Yeah, she broke it up.
Wow.
I guess she did the right thing, because I'd have never been happy with it.
Right.
And when she did that, she broke the whole thing up. So my sister-in-law was going to Philadelphia to visit her mother because it was her birthday. And her mother and sister were friends with me, you know.
Okay.
Because that's how my brother married her. He met her, and being our next-door neighbors, he met her, and they fell in love, and they got married. And
So you were going over there?
So I had gone there for the weekend, and Daddy was there with a friend of theirs, and she was keeping company with them. I mean, she was going with this guy, and Daddy went with them to keep them company.
Oh, I see.
And he fell in love with me.
He met you and fell in love with you?
Yeah, he met me there. He fell in love with me.
Did you know that right away?
Yeah.
You knew he was into you the first day?
Right.
He made it obvious?
Yes.
What did he say?
Well, he was so happy that he met me, and we went to the dance together because he had an after-party dance after a wedding. So they invited me, and we went to the dance together, and we enjoyed the dance together.
So wait, this was an actual wedding?
It was the wedding before.
Right.
The day before.
The day before.
But the night they were celebrating the wedding, yeah.
And then after that night was the dance.
Right. And that's when I got to meet him at the dance. And we danced, and we had a good time. And,
but you said you weren't into him at first.
No, I wasn't. I really wasn't.
What'd you think about him?
I didn't care for him that much. I didn't think he was handsome at all.
You didn't think he was handsome?
No.
Huh?
He was very, I don't know, kind of, he wasn't handsome. And I didn't care for him. I didn't think he was that nice looking.
No.
No.
Did he have a nice personality?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And he won me over, you know.
How did he win you over?
You know, he took me, we went to an ice cream parlor, and he took me, treated me to ice cream.
That's all it took was some ice cream?
Right. And it was only a quarter, and it was the last quarter he had.
Oh, really?
He was hoping and praying that I would ask for more. Yeah, he told me all that.
He told you that?
Yeah, he says, Pat, when you asked me, when I ordered, and you said the ice cream, he said, I was hoping and praying you'd say you didn't want no more. Because he didn't have any money on poor kid. He was only 19.
Yeah.
And I was only 19. And then we had the ice cream together and walked me over to Connie's house. And he told her, he says, please let me know when she comes here in town again. He says, I want to see that girl. So when I came back in town again couple of weeks later, they told him, they said, you know, that girl Pat, she's coming down. And he dropped everything to try to be with me.
Really?
Yeah. And he really got into, he really cares for me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He liked me. And it took me a little while for me to like him. I really didn't think he was good looking enough.
Right.
And he had that puny, skinny look about him. He wasn't, you know, he was only 19.
Yeah.
And I was only 19. Then I had my tonsils. That's why I was there that weekend.
Oh, to have your tonsils out?
I had my tonsils out at the clinic, which was a horrible thing.
Ugh.
So anyway, that was terrible.
Especially back then.
Yeah. So anyway, I had my tonsils out, and he came to see me that night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So on his way walking, he was bringing me a little gift. My godfather. He was so good to me. Mark, he was such a nice man.
Really?
Yes, he was there for me when I was having problems. And, well, anyway, so he was coming to see me to see how I was doing. And he met Nick on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they said hi. You know, they knew each other because they both rented the same store.
Yeah.
And
so he came to say hi to Nick.
He said to Nick, he said, I'm going to go see a friend of mine. He said, she just had her tonsils out. And he said, oh, he says, that's nice. He says, I'll see you. You know, he said, goodbye. And they met in our living room. And he laughed.
So he went to go see you.
Yeah.
Did he know he didn't know you had your tonsils out.
Yeah, that's why. That's why he brought me this little gift.
But when his friend said, I'm going to see somebody that has their tonsils out, they didn't say anything?
No, he didn't know it was me. You know.
Yeah, but what kind of coincidence could that be? They're both going to see somebody that has their tonsils out?
Yeah. So that was embarrassing. Because it was the same person with me.
Oh, my goodness.
And, but then we started talking, and after that, a couple of weeks later, I had to come back in town again because the doctor had to recheck me and see how I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back in town, they told him, Pat's down, you know. So he made sure he was there to see me. And then he went, you know, he would write letters to me.
Oh.
And I would write letters to him. And it started to grow from there.
You were long distance for a while, though?
Yeah, I was long distance for a while.
For how many years?
Couple years.
Couple of years?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And we would see each other off and on.
Mm-hmm.
Meantime, I would date other people.
Right. Would he date other people?
Yeah, he was dating other people.
Yeah.
I was dating other people.
Okay.
Yeah, and then.
Well, how did you end up with him then?
Well, then I wind up that this fellow that I was dating, we didn't go nowhere, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, he was writing letters to me, and then I told him that my boyfriend and I broke up, and we were having a problem. So he said, "Can I see you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, you can come and see me." So he did. He came to Bonner, and he had his cousin that knew the area.
Mm-hmm.
She knew Viner. And
now, how old were you now?
19. I was still.
This was all in the same year.
Still, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Still 19.
All right.
And so then this girl came with his cousin, and she, made sure that he knew his way around, because Nick didn't know how to get around the Viner,
Sure.
a stranger. So we went to the movies, And then from there, we met again. A couple of weeks later, we met again.
Mhm.
Then after that, he would keep writing me, and I would write him. And finally, we started going real serious.
Real serious, huh?
So that's how it happened.
And then you moved out to him?
No, I still lived at the farm.
No, but I mean eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually you moved to Philly, right?
No.
No?
He lived in Philly all the time.
Well, yeah, but when you guys ended up getting married and stuff.
Oh, yeah, then I had an apartment with his mom. and
Right,
dad.
right.
Yeah.
And then when they passed away, you moved to Violin?
No.
No?
No, meantime, we got married because the war was, they were taking in all the young men,
Mhm.
and he got this form
Mhm.
that that he had to sign in,
Right.
and if he was married before that date, they would let it go.
Mhm.
So we went and got married.
Right.
And this way he didn't have to go to the army.
Right.
And meantime, we got married. We had a beautiful wedding.
Hmm.
And we got married. And
What
then
year was that?
1941.
Wow.
And then when we got married, they left us alone for a while. And then they called me and wanted to know why we didn't get married, why he didn't go into the service.
Mhm.
So we had explained to him that we were, we got married.
Right.
So they left us alone. And meantime, Angela was born.
Mhm.
And then we got called again. And that time they really, they didn't do anything about it. He had to go in the yard.
You had to go, yeah.
Yeah, because he and his friends, the same guys that they all got inducted at the same time.
Mhm.
They all got killed.
Really?
Yes.
They all went different places, but they all got killed?
But they all got killed.
That's horrible.
Yes.
He's the only one of his friends?
That survived.
Jeez.
That survived that terrible war.
Well, he went out to Alaska, right?
After that, they sent him to Florida to learn how to. I don't know.
Well, where did he go first?
He went to Florida. He went to Florida.
Yeah, he learned the aircraft engineering.
Right.
Yeah. He worked on the electrical on the
Right.
aircraft. Yeah.
Yes, and then they decided to send them to out of the country.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they had this big long line,
Mhm.
and he was really friendly with this guy that was in the army.
Mhm.
So when it came your dad's turn to see where he was supposed to go,
Mhm.
the last man that was chosen to go to Italy was this friend of his.
Right.
So he wasn't chosen.
Wow.
He was sent to Alaska instead.
Wow.
It's a shame.
That probably saved his life, though.
Well, it would have made him happy if he could have gone to Italy.
Yeah,
but he would have met all his parents, his relatives.
Yeah, but didn't his friends die?
Yeah.
So his friend that went to Italy died?
They all died.
So then it's better that he didn't go.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he went to Alaska where it was safe.
So I don't know. It wasn't that safe.
No?
No, it was terrible. When they got there in Alaska, there were no huts. They were not prepared. They were not prepared to see these soldiers.
Mhm.
There was no place for them to bunk.
Really?
No. And they were so cold. It was so miserable.
Wow.
And they finally built some huts that they could live in.
Mhm.
And Grandpa said some guys couldn't take it. They committed suicide.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good God.
It was terrible. It was terrible. there was no living, comfortable.
How long
They were
was
called. It was only, we got married, and Andrew, we got married. And meantime, we were taking to the store because his father they had rented another store, so that they had this contract to hold on to the old store.
Right.
They didn't want to lose it,
So you were.
So meantime, we took care of that store, and then Grandpa got called in a service, so we had to give that store up and bring all the food and stuff to the store that his father they had bought.
Right.
That building, they bought that building, and meantime, Grandpa got his service fee. They called him that he had to leave. April 15th, 1943. I'll never forget it. And it was a horrible day. He had to leave us, and he left. And I lived with his mother and father a few months. But then we didn't get along. She didn't like me, and I didn't like her.
Right.
And I feel bad for her because I couldn't understand it at the time. That was her only child.
Right.
And she was so crazy in love with her son. The love that she should have had for her husband wasn't there.
Right.
Because he was young and guess he liked his girls. I don't know.
Wow.
But anyway, so she treated me terrible.
Right.
And I went over to my godmother and my godfather. They lived down the street.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was my godfather. God love him. I always pray for their soul. They were so good to me.
They were good to you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially back then when it was tough for you.
Right. So I went to them because she gave me such a hard time that day. And she said that I didn't mean nothing to her son. Her son was only there for one prayer. Her son was married to me just for his own desires.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
That's horrible that she said that.
Yeah, that broke my heart when she said that.
Well, you knew it wasn't true.
So I fought her,
Sure.
I stood up to her and fought her.
This is while he was gone.
Right.
Good for you.
Even though I was young, it hurt me that she said such a...
She should have had no right to say that.
No, she should never said that to me. I didn't deserve that. I was a nice girl.
Yes, you were.
And but it's because I took her son's, love, which broke her heart. And now I understand that she had that love for her son that, it happens in a son's life. She loved him so much, and she didn't want to share him with anybody.
Right.
And he should have never got married because his mother was so close to him.
Well,
she was
no,
crazy.
it was the best thing he could have done.
She was crazy.
You can't be attached to her.
I know, but evidently it didn't work because she was so crazy for him, and she cried and cried because she wanted us to split up.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
She could not want her son to be
No,
happy
she
like
didn't want it. And but I feel for her, Mark. I understand her now that I'm old.
Yeah.
It's sad what she went through.
Right.
That she had to share her son with somebody that she loved so dearly. And he was so important to her.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah,
very hard.
to do, right?
When you're the only child, your husband doesn't get along with you.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, so that's why she told me that I was in her house, not because I was married to her son. I was there in that house because for his own pleasures, And that hurt me so much that I called her a son of a bitch.
Good for you.
And,
she deserved it. Did she back down eventually?
No.
She never did?
No. I took my little girl and took her over to my godmother because they lived down the street from us. So my godfather went to my apartment because I had a beautiful apartment there. And he went to my apartment and started breaking things down, you know, taking the curtains down and taking it down. Yeah, he did all that.
So you...
And so she was telling him what a terrible person I was, that, you know, that I was no good. And he says, don't tell me about her being no good. He says, I baptized this kid.
Right.
He says, I've seen her grow up. He says, and don't ever tell me she's no good. So he told her off, too.
Good.
And that same night, he made arrangements. He called the Columbia moving people. And he had all my furniture packed up.
Wow.
And they took me back to the farm. And then that's where I lived for 2 years.
Wow.
It's a farm with my little girl and my mom and dad. They had a big farm. And
how did Papa feel when?
They were hurt. They were very hurt to think that she treated me that way.
Right.
Because I didn't deserve to be treated that way.
Right. Well, I mean, how did Papa feel? My Papa. Your Nick. How did he take it?
It hurt him very much. It hurt him very much. I think that his parents would do that. Yeah. But then when 2 years later, they gave cards out of it. Who can go back to the United States?
Right.
So he was lucky.
That's right.
His name came out, and then they called it back because it wasn't valid. But then they did it again. His name came out again. So he came to the United States.
So they tried to say it wasn't valid, but...
Yeah, but then after, you know, they had a second one. And it was valid. And he came home. And it was so nice. He came home to us.
Oh.
He stayed for a couple of months. And then they shared him. They sent him to South Carolina. And they had to finish the rest of the war in South Carolina.
Well, how long was that?
A couple of years.
A couple of years?
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So he was in Alaska for how long then? A year?
And more than that. He was in Alaska.
The war ended, and you said he went to war in 1940.
43.
43. The war ended in 45.
Yes. Well, that's the time.
Okay.
That's the time.
All right.
Yeah. And so it was miserable. It was hard. She was terrible. She always hated me. She never... And you can't blame her, Mark.
When he came back from the war,
when he came back from the war, we went back to South Philly to live.
Okay.
And we got an apartment in South Philly.
And then when did you move to Vineland?
We moved to Vineland 4 years later.
Okay.
Grandpa went back. Meantime, he goes to school to learn how to be a meat cutter.
Right.
Because he didn't know nothing about any of that stuff. So he went to school to learn the meat cutter. And they opened up a little meat counter for him.
Okay.
He was doing good. But we had a big argument with his mother because Maria was going up the steps, up and down the steps, and she got real dirty. And I couldn't stand it, and I smacked Maria, and she wanted to know why I smacked Maria, so I got into a big fight.
Right.
Yeah, we got into a big fight.
How old was Mom? Maria?
She was 3 years old.
Oh.
And so then I decided, he decided his mother said it was around Thanksgiving.
Right.
So to get even with him, she says you cannot have the car because it was one family car.
Mhm.
And
sure.
So we lived with them. We only had the one family car.
Yeah, of course.
And so she says we couldn't have the car. So he made a big mistake. He says she can boss him around like that and take away the car like that. I don't know what he was thinking. So he decided that he wanted to leave.
Mhm.
And she begged him not to leave. She cried. She didn't want him to leave.
He had enough.
And he had enough. He didn't want to live. So that's how we started our life in Vineland.
Wow, I see.
That's how we started our life in Vineland.
And then she just stayed there?
What?
His mother stayed. She stayed there.
Oh, she stayed in Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah.
Did she ever get over it?
No.
No,
Poor
probably not.
thing. No, poor thing. She never did. I feel sorry. I always say prayers for her.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for her because she loved that son so
Right.
much more. You'd be surprised.
Well, but she should have learned to share. You know, he could have taken care of you.
She couldn't do it. She couldn't do it.
That's a shame.
She couldn't do it. And I didn't know better.
Mhm.
I didn't know better.
Look at the penguin.
I
dive.
was.
Watch. Look at the penguin. See that penguin dive?
Yeah.
That's news. Did you see that, Nana?
Yes.
The penguin diving at an aquarium into the water.
Right.
That's on the 6 o'clock news or the 5 o'clock news.
Oh, really?
That's the news.
Oh, my.
Like out of everything happening in the world and on this planet right now, they are spending time telling you about a penguin that dived into the water.
Oh, my. You know, we really don't know what's in store for us. We really don't know.
Well, would you want to know?
Well, no.
No.
I wouldn't want to know.
Why not?
But things are worse now than ever, Mark. Things are worse now.
Are they?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. The economy has gone down. The cost of living was so high. You school teachers never had a problem. You always had a good pay coming in with a good annuity coming in.
Mhm.
You don't have that anymore.
No.
Your mom and dad does.
Well, yeah.
They're lucky. It happened with
They got out just in time.
this. They really did.
Basically what happens. That they got out just in time.
Yeah. So they really got it. You know.
It's my generation and the next ones who are screwed, right? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
We're screwed.
You are. And you got to do something about it, Mark. You all got to get together and not let this happen because they're ruining our middle age. You know, we belong to the middle age.
The middle class?
The middle class. And they're ruining it for us.
Well, yeah.
You know, we can't keep up with the payments. Nobody's working. And Mark, look at Michael. Look at Michael. No jobs. And a lot of the boys have to. A lot of the people have to go back to their parents to live because they can't afford to live by themselves. You see what's happening.
I do see what's happening.
Terrible.
So, do you think there's any hope for humankind?
Well, there should be if everybody would stick together and fight together. But they're letting the Republicans get away with it.
Well, it's not just Republicans. It's just people in power that don't care.
I know.
You don't have to give them a name. It's
the wrong people.
The wrong people.
It's the wrong people.
Yeah.
Meantime, you guys, I mean, you shouldn't have to go through what you're going through, where that your money doesn't cover all expenses.
Well, right.
That's not fair.
Right. It's not like you're asking for.
It's not fair. You should have enough money to be able to support yourself, and you find it hard. You're not finding it Is he right?
Well, I mean, you know, I do waste money in certain areas, but it's not like I'm buying extravagant things.
Yeah, but that's not right.
I don't buy new clothes.
I know, but that's not right. Yeah, but you should be able to do that.
Well, I know. I know, but
It's
just
not
barely
fair. It's not
getting
fair.
by.
It's not fair because you're working hard. You're teaching all these kids. Your job is harder than ever. And I don't think that's fair.
Well, you know.
And there's no respect for teachers anymore.
No.
There used to be a lot of respect for teachers. There is no respect for teachers.
Nope.
And they treat teachers terrible. There is, I don't know. It's not the same. I see it all happening, and I feel so bad because in my day, the teacher was respected so much. You had to respect that teacher. Today, you have classes making a lot of noise and talking. We never had that in our day.
Why do you think it's different?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Why do you think the kids today are like that?
Because their parents spoil them.
Their parents spoil them?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Their
parents probably think they're just doing the right thing.
Yeah,
right?
but they're not. They're not. And then they go there ready to fight the teacher.
Yeah.
You know, that's not right, Mark. That never happened before. Before, if the teacher said that child did something wrong, the parents punished that child.
Well, I think part of it was you did have a lot of bad teachers, though, too. You know, I mean, they used to have corporal punishment and all that. And so, I'm just playing devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, back when you couldn't say anything to the teacher could also smack you on the hand with a ruler.
Yeah.
Which is also not right.
Right.
So there's a now we can't do that stuff anymore.
No.
We don't.
I know.
But the kids can get away with all this crap.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing to hold it back.
I still say that I think it's terrible the
Doesn't
way.
it come back to how you're raised and values?
Yeah. But I still think it's terrible the way the teachers are being treated. Just relaxes me, and I feel better.
Well, that's good.
And then my pains go away, and I feel better for a while, but it doesn't last. And I get that, I have that feeling of, being relaxed, and that helps me.